Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, Ken, the latest from Major League Baseball is that they have announced, the league office has announced that at least 2 series, the front end of the season, will be canceled. And, of course, that's going to be pretty rough on everybody. Of course, the players rejected the so-called last deal that MLB was about to offer. But as we know now, there will be some games lost in the schedule.
Went on outside the baseball world, inside it as well. It's a terrible day, and just absolutely sucks that we've come to this point to where we're ultimately going to have a third straight season where not every team's played full 162. Remember last year the Braves only played 161, and it's just everything about this just sucks. Let's flat out go ahead and say it. Obviously you're going to have a proponent upset the players. I understand that because they're going to still be making more money than you listening right now, us talking about it, the people in the journalism field reporting on, on baseball, on Robert Manfred as well. But really, a lot of the blame should be going to the owners, all 30 of them, for not only, having such high demands that they really haven't decreased or stepped down from in trying to negotiate and compromise to start the season, but just honestly trying to play the victim when there's no reason to. This all could have easily been handled 2-3 months ago. Instead, what we had was negotiations that didn't start until 84 days until a lockout. Their best day was last night on Monday, where it went for 16 hours, and then today where they still wouldn't find a way to compromise and stood strong in their beliefs that they really, honestly, what it comes down to, Matt, they don't want to give up about $1.75 million extra to players, really minor league players, lower level players. It's the CBT that's been really the big debate from both sides.
Well,
and owners aren't ready to part with that, and they've opted to lose games over hand out extra $2 million towards lower tier players,
which is wasted because when you think about how much money the players will not be paid for those 6 games or so, we're talking about 2 series.
For now, yeah,
it adds up to that much and more.
Yeah, no, exactly. The revenue they could have had is lost, obviously, because if you got tickets for opening day, you for sure ain't going to that. Obviously, broadcasting deals, you're losing money there. It's interesting, though, because actually there is, I think, for the first 6 weeks, the owners can actually make revenue, and I think maybe even more than had they had a full season, because they don't have to play the players, or rather pay the players for the first, 5-6 weeks, because there's no contracts. Obviously, it's all in a lockdown, so you're not paying them because they're not playing. But it's still, as you said, just all this, and just the look that it brings on the league, that we've known about this, the CBA, this battle, for about 2 years now. You remember on the sports section we spoke about it, how back in 2020, really 2019 to 2020, that it was going to come to this, and both sides are really going to have to negotiate and find a compromise and get this deal done. And it's easy.
Here's another one. There have been some who say, and they don't necessarily say how they know, but Derek Jeter's departure from the Miami Marlins front office was motivated in part by the fact that he, as a former player, did not like the way the negotiations were going as far as the players were concerned. That he felt that MLB owners were holding a gun to the players' heads. But here's the thing. Either way, this is the thing that makes the least amount of sense, and you've been saying it over and over again. They're not that far apart on these issues, and these issues are secondary. Compared to 1994. 1994, the owners wanted to impose a salary cap. Didn't get it. Okay? And they negotiated in bad faith, put replacement players in. That's why Sonia Sotomayor, the judge at the time, ruled in favor of the players and basically ended the strike right then and there. So she's always considered a hero, especially for baseball fans. Maybe not owners, but who cares about the owners? But
they sure care about us.
Well, that's the thing. The owners have proven that they don't seem to care about the fans. The players seem to care more. But there's the amazing thing that baffles baffles fans and journalists alike, like us, is that they're fighting over scraps.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fighting over semantics in the contract. There's no the labor. We went through almost 30 years of labor peace. I mean, yes, it came close to a strike in 2002, but the players overruled Don Fear, saying, yes, we want steroid testing.
Right.
But
and that they agreed to CBA agreements where they had the short end of the stick, essentially, there wasn't any pre-arbitration bonus, and that's something they're trying to contend for now. The league minimum was relatively low, especially compared to other pro sports, and that's something they're trying to raise now, because the previous league min was 570,000. They're trying to get that up to around 725,000.
Relative to what the more experienced players are making, that maybe the league minimum should be brought up. But the other fact of the matter is that this also comes into play when you have guys who are in their first couple of years of bouncing up and down between the minors and the majors. Because, as we say, spend 2 weeks in the majors and you double your minor league salary.
Yeah. And you're talking about Derek Jeter too, and it could fit in that point because he was on that Marlins team, and obviously he had a hand in these moves, like Giancarlo Stanton, for example, being traded to the Yankees. A lot of those core Marlin players being moved on, but for him to be there and leave, it says to me that there's definitely more to it, especially with as we said, owners really not caring about putting on a good baseball product because they're going to get revenue from it, and it's just a shame that they have to sacrifice what looks like is going to be at least a couple weeks of the season, probably going to be more.
Okay, so we'll be talking about this at greater length, of course, on the sports section. This will probably be posted to YouTube. I'm sure Ken's going to do that. So follow us there at WUSB Sports.